106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Bartender knows what we want. We're a regular, everyday, 2-for-1 family, keeping each other from thinking too much. Someone's always buying if you ain't got money, 'cause everyone needs drinking buddies.
Actually sounds kick-ass.
Isn't that cool? All right. Welcome back, everybody. C&D's Booze Reviews, episode 39 or 40?
39, I think.
Well, episode 39. We are back. Survived another week. Thanks for everybody that is liking and following on the Facebook page. We did get that launched and had a pretty quick and good following.
Yeah, it did.
So if you haven't done that, we are on Facebook, C&D's Booze Reviews. Also on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, C&D's Booze Reviews. So follow along for that.
We're on the socials these days.
We are. We're socially active. But yeah, so it's, let's see, last weekend was Memorial Weekend, and now we're getting ready to hit June. By the time this comes out, we'll be in June.
Yeah.
It's a big month for us.
Oh, yeah.
It's our birthdays in June.
Yeah, man.
And Father's Day even. You get 2 holidays in June.
Yeah, the only shitty part is it's like back-to-back. But
It is kind of like the same weekend, huh?
no, it's like literally some years on a certain, I figured it out one time, but a certain amount of years, it actually falls on my birthday. So me and my dad usually do something kind of fun when that happens.
That's also kind of bullshit because you're not getting as many gifts.
Yeah, I know.
What, before we get into it, Father's Day.
Yeah,
What's the perfect Father's Day for you?
tools. Anything.
Not even just gift, but like for the whole day.
Oh, like, I don't know. Like, I don't really have to do much. Like, maybe we go out, eat somewhere at my favorite spot, maybe.
Yep.
I can drink beer, like, ideally.
Yeah.
And then, I'm just not asked to do a whole lot. Is ideal for me.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it sounds great. I'm not a dad, but I'd like to have a Father's Day.
Hey, man, it's...
Maybe I could just have a Dalton Day.
I mean, I'm sure you could start it. There's got to be more than,
I've noticed that for the past 7 years, I've worked every one of my birthdays, like the actual day. I've been at work.
That's kind of sad, man.
Yeah,
but at a certain age, it's not like,
yeah.
it doesn't have the appeal anymore.
No, but if I would say like, oh, I'll just make my birthday Dalton Day. And then that would be a day where I can lay around in my underwear, watch baseball on TV, drink beers, eat pizza. And
Pop
then
dips.
hammer chewing tobacco, and then never get like another beer or never get, hey, would you take just nothing.
Yeah.
That would be the perfect day.
Yeah, all you're hearing is the hit of a bat.
Yeah, just watching the Red Sox play.
Yeah.
This year probably losing. They fucking suck.
Hey, you know what though? I wanted to bring this. I told you I was going to save this right before we recorded.
Uh-huh.
Nice shirt, dude.
Thank you. Thank you.
I noticed it's new.
Yeah, let me just show it off for the camera. So on the front it says Busch Light. In the back, boom.
Yeah, I have a weird thing with white shirts. I like them, but they're just never, they're so hard to keep clean.
White anything is not very practical.
No.
But so here's the deal. I'll tell you. So my nephew's getting married this weekend. I'm taking off for Tulsa in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'm officiating his wedding and stuff. And, at this point, I've been in so many weddings. I've done so many weddings that I have more dress clothes and shit than I ever thought I'd have.
Yeah.
But every time, it's always a different color and it's always different stuff.
Dude, you're like that 27 dresses or whatever.
Yeah. So I needed a different suit jacket, like a gray one. And I was like, damn. So I was like Googling. Ended up getting a pretty good deal on one at Kohl's. It's pretty fresh.
Yeah.
But while I was in Wichita, I was like, well, let me go get a new pair of jeans. Because every couple years I get like 2 new pairs of buckle jeans. I just really like buckle jeans. And they last me a long time, but they're expensive. So I don't do it all the time.
Yeah.
So I go into the buckle today.
Got hounded for as soon as you stepped in the door.
Yeah. And they're like, "Hey, what are you looking for?" I was like, "I'll find it. I'm not a new
Every time, dude.
But they wouldn't leave me alone. I see you're wearing boots. Would you like to check out our Western collection?
You remember the buckle challenge?
Yeah,
where you
I did it one time.
I did it one time as well.
Anyway, this time it was actually, I didn't succumb to the peer pressure of the guy, but I was just like, whatever, man. I get it. Cause I think they probably work on commission.
Yeah,
and
it's kind of
stuff.
some.
So
It's got to be something like
I
that.
told him, I was like, I'm just looking for a pair of dark blue jeans. I said, nothing fancy and the cheapest ones you got. And so he hooked me up. He's got a pair. But then he's like, hey, over there's t-shirts 2 for $25. And I was like, I gotta look at that.
I guess.
But they were all plain shirts. But right next to them were all these badass Bush Light shirts.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I got it. So I bought 2.
Yeah.
And I just kind of treated myself a little bit. I got a little carried away.
Hey, every now and then you got to do it.
I went to some Western stores and I bought some summer pearl snaps.
Okay.
And a new cowboy hat today that I probably didn't have to have. But you know what?
Treat yourself.
All I do is work. I never, and I can't even watch a damn movie in the theater. So
Yeah, treat yourself.
just so that's what happened. But thank you for that.
Yeah, I know you. I could see you needed that.
Dude, I did. But yeah, I got to go to Tulsa. But we'll get into that. Let's get into the movie. It is, we are in summer, people.
Mm-hmm.
It is summer. First week in June, baseball's popping. My
Yep.
team isn't doing worth a shit. Remarkably, the Royals aren't half bad right now, which would be my second team.
Yeah.
But
Kind of your local team, but
yeah,
not
yeah.
your favorite.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're the home team.
Yeah.
They're not doing too bad this year. So I picked a baseball movie because it's baseball season. But the reason I picked this movie is because I was listening back to our Somewhere in Queens podcast,
Yeah.
and something you said to me that we kind of talked about finding actors that can actually play the sport of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really got to thinking about that, and I was like, damn, you were so right. And because now, like, it just made me reevaluate some of the sports movies I'd seen.
Yeah. Now that you've heard it, you're going to see it in movies.
Right.
Like, if you know what to look for, you'll be like, yeah, man, he ain't really throwing that ball.
Right. Or shooting the ball or,
Yeah.
or whatever. So I picked For the Love of the Game, which, in my opinion, is one of the better sports movies ever made. And it's got, and listen, we're big Kevin Costner guys.
yeah.
We love Kevin
Yeah.
Costner. We like his movies that nobody even knows about, like Postman.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, you got Dances with Wolves. I mean, you can go through his IMDb.
Yeah. He's
It's-
got enough.
but also he's got that new Western coming out. So I thought, let's get a Costner movie in there.
Yeah. It costed us Yellowstone, man.
So funny enough, when I was thinking about For the Love of the Game, I hopped on TikTok and I was like, because I wasn't sold. Like, maybe we should do Love of the Game. Maybe we should do another movie that I told you about.
Yeah.
And I get on TikTok. First video is a scene where a guy bunts the ball and Costner is on, he's a pitcher in this movie, and he slides, takes a knee, hops up, sidearms it to first, and you can clearly tell it's Costner doing it.
Yeah. He had to actually play baseball at some point, right?
And I was like, okay, I got to do For the Love of the Game because this is a perfect example of a guy that can actually play baseball.
Well, it looks believable when he's on the
Right.
mound, too.
So, and another thing before we get into the movie, if you just think, Costner's got to be a massive baseball fan because he's made, to my knowledge, at least 3 baseball movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the Love of the Game, Field of Dreams,
Yeah.
and Bull Durham.
Yeah.
And all 3 of those movies are freaking awesome. I could have picked any one of those 3. They would have been great.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie, I also kind of picked this one because we had talked too about John C. Reilly being in like
Yeah.
a lesser of a comedic role.
Yeah. He's not bad. He's pretty good in this movie.
But anyway, so we picked For the Love of the Game. I think it came out in 96, 97.
I think it's like 98, 99.
Okay, because the season's a 95 season. Or anyway, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
So For the Love of the Game is basically about just a guy who's been in the league for a long time. He's older. He's on the tail end.
He's approached the end.
Yeah,
basically.
he's beat up. He's the old school. He's the locker room leader. He's that type of guy. And really what I love about this movie is you get to see a lot of inside baseball that you maybe don't get to see in other sports because it's not just focused on, even though it's called For the Love of the Game, it's really not so much focused on the game itself.
It's a sports movie, but it's really more of a kind of a romance movie. Really,
See, I guess you could say it was. I think it's more about a guy finding himself, like his true identity. And like, what's really important.
It
to him.
is, yeah.
But you get to see like how the business kind of operates in professional sports, and really how cold blooded it is, and the camaraderie that sports bring along with it, and all this other stuff. But yes, of course, there's a love interest, and I mean that's a large part of the movie. But yeah, I mean that's I mean really what it's about, you know. And it's typical 90s Kevin Costner. It's a pretty long movie.
It is very long.
Well, Postman's like 5 hours long.
Yeah. In like Dances with Wolves.
Oh my god.
Might as well clear out your day.
Yeah.
Because
Same with like Waterworld.
he likes to make long shit.
Open
dude.
Range with
His new movie, I guarantee, is going to be about 2.5 hours long.
I'll sit through every minute of it though.
I probably will too, but
Yeah.
I mean, you know it's going to be a long one.
Yeah.
You're going to have to take a pee break.
Oh, for sure. You got to watch it at home so you can pause it.
Oh, yeah.
But this movie starts out really coming off a loss. So he plays for the Detroit Tigers. He's a pitcher. You know, kind of the prologue of the movie is kind of showing him growing up as a kid, playing with his dad, playing catch, pitching. Now he's in the big leagues. And he's already, when you find him in the movie, he's already a Hall of Fame pitcher.
Oh, yeah.
He's won multiple Cy Youngs. He's won the World Series. And you're kind of like,
He's reached the top of the mountain.
yes, and his team sucks, and they're kind of driving it like, what is he still doing? Why is he still playing? Kind of stuff like this. So, kind of at the beginning of the movie, you know, they're coming off a loss, they're getting on an airplane, they have no chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah,
The
they're
Detroit
out of it.
Tigers, and they kind of get on the airplane, and this is one of the coolest things. Like even in the beginning, if you're a fan of sports in general, you should feel this way, or especially baseball. But he gets on the plane, and he's like, yeah, and he's hurt. He's an old, broken down man. I mean, he's the oldest guy on the team. He's played for 19 years. And his catcher, Gus, he tells him, he's like, yeah, he's got me starting tomorrow. And he's like, why? Why put yourself through that? He's like, it doesn't matter. He's like, this game doesn't matter. And he goes, the game matters to the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Because this game that you end up, really the whole movie is going on during this one game.
Yeah.
And it's against the Yankees in New York. And if the Yankees win, they clinch the pennant, they clinch the series, to go on to the playoffs in the American League.
And they'll probably walk their way.
Right. But if they lose to Detroit, then the Red Sox get to play. So
By the way, old Yankee Stadium, man. Beautiful.
it's incredible, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Yeah. And that's how it is in a lot of sports. I mean, you find this out like when you get to the playoffs in football, sometimes it, like last year even, it was like, okay, well, the only way that, like the Steelers, for example, remember last year was like, okay, the Steelers want to make the playoffs, the Ravens have to lose, the Chiefs have to win, and then this team has to do this.
Yeah.
And that's really what it boils down to a lot of the times in baseball too, just because there's so many freaking games. But so he's going out there and he's going to pitch, but he ends up having the worst freaking day this guy can have.
Yeah.
His girlfriend, or first of all, his girlfriend doesn't show up.
On and off. Yeah.
We'll get into that. But so his girlfriend doesn't show up to the hotel room to have dinner, and he sets up this fancy dinner and all this stuff. She never comes. So he ends up getting hammered.
Yeah, he's just like, fuck it, boozing.
His catcher, Gus, wakes.
Probably shit me and you would do. Be like, shit show? All right. I guess mini bar it is.
Knowing he's got a pitch tomorrow.
Yeah.
His catcher wakes him up. He's still in last night's clothes.
Probably reeking of booze.
But then the owner of the team, of the Detroit Tigers, comes in to tell him, hey, I sold the team.
Yeah.
And he has played his entire career since he got drafted in Detroit, all 19 years of it. And he basically tells him, he's like, you're the locker room guy. You're the leader of this team. You're the heart and soul of the team. But I'm telling you right now, the new owners, their first order of business is to trade you.
I think you find out it's like a business conglomerate that bought the team.
It's a group of people.
Yeah.
And he's like, they're going to trade you.
Yeah.
And but the owners basically tell him, he's like, you should basically give him the middle finger and just retire. Because now they got to pay you your full extent of your contract. They got to do all that.
Yeah.
And they don't get some young stud.
Yeah. Who's that actor, by the way?
He's in all kinds of great
he's so
stuff.
good in
he
a
is.
bunch of shit, but I can never remember his name.
He's in a lot of stuff.
He's so good.
But I thought that was really cool. Like, there's a couple things in that scene that I thought were really cool. First, you're getting to see the absolute ice in the veins of the business people to own these professional teams.
That's how it is, man.
That's how it is. But we don't think about it, right? We think these are professional athletes. They make millions of dollars. How bad could they be? Could you imagine? You spent 19 years of your life, your entire adult life, essentially.
Yeah, and
now-
pouring blood.
Now
sweat,
you're
and
being
tears.
you're being told they don't want you anymore.
Yeah.
You're not good enough anymore.
Yeah, man.
So then he does that. Well, then his girlfriend shows up, breaks up with him.
Yeah.
So he's having a bad day. He's hungover as shit, and he has to go pitch against the New York Yankees in a big game for the American League.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if their team wins or loses, but it's a big freaking game.
For the Yankees, it's huge.
And for the Sox, apparently,
Yeah.
it's huge. And he's got to go pitch. And he does. He goes and pitches. But the movie's cool because then it starts to kind of flash back to when he met this girl
Yeah.
and their relationship, which is pretty turbulent.
He's such a stud in that open. Like when he first meets her,
Oh, yeah.
pulling up in a Porsche, looking all fly and shit. Then typical. He's just like, I'll fix your car.
Yeah.
Doesn't know a thing about cars.
No.
But dude, if I was him, I'd do the exact same thing. Why not?
Yeah. See a hot chick on the side of the
Yeah.
road? You got to be careful about that these days, though, I think.
Yeah, these days. No, back in the 90s, you could get away with it. Yeah.
And she's mean to him. And he goes, I can always tell when I'm in New York.
Yeah.
Because, like, when he gets on the mound. So this movie's got a lot of flashbacks and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's
it
one of
jumps
those.
around a lot.
So, but when he's on the mound, the Yankees fans are being horrible people, trash ass people, like they are.
Yeah.
Always have been.
And he gets on the mound and he does this thing. He says, like, clear the mechanism. And it's like, boom, sound's gone.
Yeah, he blocks everything out.
Dude, I feel like even like athlete in high school, it was the same way for me in wrestling. I couldn't hear shit from the crowd.
No, I think that's something.
When it's just like a hyper focus, but I've never seen it in a movie before where they always like pause it for dramatic effect without the sound. But like just to see like an athlete get in the
Right.
zone, like that was.
Had you seen this movie before?
I have. It was a long time ago.
Okay.
Maybe I've seen clips actually. I don't think I actually have fully seen the movie.
Yeah.
But I was just like, oh yeah, that's like the first time I've ever seen it in a movie. You just see an athlete get boom, like
Zoned in.
zoned in.
Yep. And so, by the way, this game against the Yankees, he's got to make a decision. Do I retire?
Oh yeah.
Do I play and get traded? So he's already in a pissed off mood. He kind of shows up to the ballpark, and J.K. Simmons, who plays the skipper,
God, I love him.
says, and you can kind of, J.K. Simmons, I don't think at this point knows that he's being traded.
No.
I don't think anybody knows
No.
except
for him.
yeah. And he goes, hey, I'm not starting Gus today, which is his catcher.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, yes, you are. And he goes, he's not good on the bats. I want to win this game. I need him. And he goes, I've never asked you for a goddamn thing. Today it's me and Gus. Because he knows,
This is it.
regardless if he retires or not, this is the last game he gets with the guy that's been catching for him for years.
Yeah.
And, I'm obviously I don't want to talk about my own baseball experience this whole time. Actually, I would love to, but I'm going to try not to. But I will say, being a catcher myself for a lot of years, that is a real bond that you have.
Of course, it's just you and the pitcher.
Yeah, you learn how to trust each other. You know how each other works, and so for him, to want that guy is just like kind of shows you how much trust that pitchers have in their catchers and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same for like Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's just you
In
build
sport-
chemistry.
Yeah, in sports, there's always a duo like that.
And so he vouches for him, and it ends up paying off. The guy gets a pretty good hit, and scores a run and everything. But I thought that was a really kind of a cool scene because he is not only is he, like you're saying, laser focused when he's on the mound, he has kind of got something to prove here.
Oh, he's pissed. He's just trying to work through his shit.
Well, yeah, but also, okay, these new owners coming in, you're telling me I'm not good enough anymore? Watch this, motherfuckers. Watch this. You forgot who I am. He even says that at one point in the movie. He's like,
And something interesting about this movie too, like you said, it focuses on a single game. You basically go through every inning with him on the mound.
yeah, because it'll flash back, then come back to him on
Yeah.
the mound. And so I guess this is a long movie. I don't know how to break it down without taking 3 hours, but and I don't want to ruin anything for people that haven't seen it because this
Yeah.
might be one of those 90s movies that it's a big iconic movie, but for a lot of people, especially our generation,
Yeah.
maybe hasn't seen it. So, but he meets this girl and they have this arrangement where he's a major league ball player. He's all over the place.
Yeah,
But every time he's in New York, they kind of agree, like, we'll date or see each other. And then you live your life, I live my life. I come back to New York, we hang out, stuff like this.
yeah.
Because she's concerned, I'm not a groupie.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't treat you like a damn groupie. I wine and dine you. I treat you like a girlfriend. But he's a rock star, man.
Yeah, he's one of the best pitchers in the MLB. Like, yeah,
and he's certified Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's a stud.
And so they break up like, I don't know, 30 times throughout this whole thing.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's reasons behind them all.
Yeah.
There's, times where they last for a while and then they'll, something will happen and they'll kind of break up. And then, like you said, too, there's a teammate, an ex-teammate that's on the Yankees. So, like, you kind of get like you said, the kind of ugly side of the business where,
And not only just a teammate, they were like best friends.
yeah, and he was like kind of moaning when he had to help him pack and leave.
Yeah. He's like, it's your team too, blah, blah, blah,
He's like, is the money really worth it? Like, yeah.
And so, yeah, it's poetic that he's got to obviously pitch against
Yeah.
his friend, knowing that this might be the last time he pitches.
By the way, in Yankee Stadium, like,
Old
like,
Yankee Stadium.
old Yankee Stadium, like a historic place.
In front of trash ass Yankee fans. But the girl eventually, so their relationship carries on for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And she tells him, I'm moving to London. She's a writer, a columnist in magazines or
Yeah.
whatever. And she says, I'm moving to London. I got to go. She does, and you'll learn about this, and I'm not going to break down every single time.
Yeah.
She has got a pattern of like running away from him. I mean, they did it after the first night. He's like, I want to see you again. And she goes, no, you don't.
Yeah. And
She-
but he also doesn't help things either.
No, but like there's the baseball game, and then there's a game that these two play.
Yeah. Yeah.
For like 5 years.
Yeah.
Where he'll screw up, he'll work his ass off, try to get her back. Things start getting too good for her. She gets scared,
Bails,
runs away,
yeah.
and bails. Which, not that it's ever happened to me, but I'll tell you right now, if a rich professional athlete was like, "Hey, I want you to do,
Yeah.
do what you will with me." all right?
Serena Williams comes up to me. Sorry.
She can have 15 boyfriends.
What
I
do
don't
you
give
want
a
me
damn.
to do? When and where?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. But and she's got a daughter and he develops a relationship with her and stuff. There's too much stuff to just kind of go through with it. But so she goes to this airport basically when this game is the actual game, the big game is happening.
yeah.
And her flight gets delayed. Well, who's on TV? Him pitching. She can't get away from
The
it.
last guy she wants to see.
And by the way, in New York, okay, trash ass New York people, and the Yankees are playing. And it's not like a Tuesday game in May. Okay, this is a game in September. This is to get to the playoffs.
Yeah, this is big time.
So everybody's watching. Like there's even a scene, she's on a cab ride to the airport and the game is on the radio and she asks the cabbie, will you turn the radio off? And he goes, no.
Yeah.
It's the Yankees.
Yeah.
And it's New York. I mean, like that's so everybody at the airport's watching the game. She's trying not to pay attention to it, but obviously, she loves the guy. Like she's still watching it. And then you're right. It flashes back to the bad side of baseball. His teammate gets traded.
All sorts of shit. Man.
All kinds of stuff happens. And then like their relationship's doing really good. They're like legitimately together, not no longer with this arrangement.
like
They're
in the off season, they're spending time together.
somewhere in like the mountains of like Montana
That's
or
what
something.
it looked like.
Yeah.
He
And I was
just
like,
can't get away
no,
from
he
it,
can't,
can he?
man, can he? And he suffers what should be a career-ending injury.
Okay. I got some issues with this.
Okay.
So he's working on his table saw or whatever. Cuts the shit out of himself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a ton of blood coming out. The scar is only like itty bitty on his hand.
Well, speaking from someone who has a lot of scars, doctors can be pretty good at.
Okay. I can do that. Yeah, sure. But like, the way they made it sound, like I was expecting it to like wrap around the whole hand almost.
Well, yeah. I think the reason it got so dramatic is because how he makes a living is with that hand.
Oh yeah, obviously.
So whether
Yeah.
it was major, minor, or whatever, but he did lose a lot of blood.
He lost some like tendons or something.
Well, and even
nerves.
the trainers were like, "You're not coming back from this.
Yeah,
Like, you're not gonna pitch again.
yeah,
Watch me, bitch."
yeah, yeah. He did have that kind of moment. It's like, if you don't want to believe it, get the fuck out.
Well, and even so, like the commentators in the game, like they really push how old and broken down he is.
Oh yeah, they're basically calling him an AARP member out on the mound.
And they do say, because like there's a scene where his kind of arch nemesis that bats against him, he brushes him off the plate,
yeah,
and he's like, they say every great athlete has a mean streak in him like that, and it's true. I think that sink is running.
what the fuck?
I don't know. Someone's taking a
All
piss
right,
in here.
keep going. I'll be
So
back.
every great athlete has that mentality of like, we're not friends. I'll hurt you if I have to. I'll do whatever it takes to win. And a lot of the times, I think that translates into recovering from injuries, even. Like, and for some reason, I don't know why, instinctively, like athletes also have this like chip on their shoulder because some little league coach or some Pop Warner football coach told them they weren't good enough. So they're like constantly like, I have to prove people wrong.
Oh yeah,
Which I guess when you get to like any sort of professional athlete, like I don't care how good you are, you make one screw up, the next day on ESPN, 60 people are telling you
oh yeah.
how bad of a mistake. That's something that I do struggle with, like being a fan of sports and watching sports. I'll criticize like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
But I have no idea what it's like to be on an NFL field.
Or yeah, the speed of the game, like the TV doesn't
Right.
really do it justice, you know.
So, but I think that's what he was going through with that hand. Is he's like, well, this is just one more thing for me to prove people wrong.
Yeah.
But nobody really doesn't believe in him. Like, really.
I mean, they showed a stat or something. He was like 8-11, I think, and then his ERA was like 3.55, which
Not good.
it's not. Yeah.
I mean, but you're going to hit slumps in your career too.
Yeah.
But, so anyway, but after this injury, that's when the relationship with him and her kind of starts to change. He becomes more of a little bit of a calloused asshole because I think he knows I'm about at the end of this.
Yeah. He's
And-
having to face the reality of
Right.
like, this is coming to an end.
And she's not telling him what he wants to hear, which what he wants to hear is, you're great. You
You're
can do
fine.
it. Everything's going to be. No, it's like, hey, if baseball doesn't work out, like we still have each other in this. And he's like, no, fuck that. I want baseball.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
and
In a lot of ways, it's another relation. Like, it is a relationship he has.
yeah, I could only imagine there's not very many people that probably know what it's like. I'm certainly not one of them. You're not one of them. To dedicate your entire life to one thing, to become the best at one thing,
Yeah, it's like a 1% people.
and to do it for so long and be the best at doing it for so long. Could you imagine how hard that would be to come to terms with the fact that I'm not the best anymore? I'm not as good as I was 4 years ago, even. And oh, now what's next? I don't know. I'm never going to be as good at something as I was at this one thing.
Yeah.
You sacrificed everything. Like I think a lot about like these college athletes, like D1 college. They're not going to parties. They're not doing. I mean, you're sacrificing everything for this one thing,
For a chance.
for a chance at being. You're exactly right. For a chance to be able to do it. So, unfortunately, for normal people, we're not going to be able to have that empathy or understanding.
Yeah.
Like we see a guy retire, and you're like, "What are you so sad? You did it for 15 years. Good for you, man. You made a lot of money.
Yeah.
You did this." But you don't understand. Like that's like getting.
Oh, they dedicate their lives to it.
It's probably like if, getting your kids taken away from you or something, when
Yeah.
you weren't doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you would compare it to anything. So, yeah, it's tough. I mean, the only, like, if you were like an athlete and you married another athlete, they would probably understand.
Yeah.
But if you just, like in his case,
Married
a journalist,
just a random civilian. Yeah.
yeah, they're just not going to be able to understand it.
Yeah.
And that's probably frustrating. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. So we should say he is pitching just it's unlikeliest game of all time.
Yeah, so when he starts pitching, when he's warming up, Gus, the catcher, comes up to him and he's like, "Hey man, if you're gonna throw that hard, you haven't thrown hard like that in years. Like you should warn me." And he goes, "I'm throwing hard today, Gus. There's your fucking warning."
Yeah.
And Gus is the only one that knows this
Yeah.
might be the last time. So he's like, okay. And so, yes, he is pitching the game of his life.
Yeah.
And, just to run through it quicker.
Yeah.
He's in the 7th inning and people are starting to realize, oh shit, he's got a perfect game going on.
Yeah.
Which is, if you're not a fan of baseball,
A very rare sight.
I mean, almost impossible is what it is. It's almost impossible. It's not been done very many times. It's been done. I personally have only witnessed one that actually wasn't even a perfect game in my lifetime, and I watch a lot of baseball. So,
Doesn't happen very often.
no. And the issue that I had with this whole perfect game, the announcers constantly kept saying, he's on track for a perfect game. We're about to witness a perfect game. There is an unwritten rule in baseball that if it's happening, nobody mentions it. Not the announcer, not the skipper, not a fan, not a teammate. Nobody talks about it because it's a very superstitious thing that the minute you do, it's over.
Yeah.
You do not talk about no hitters. You do not talk, and those announcers know better. Okay, what they might say is they say up until this point, damn, he's been real perfect on the mound. But if you can watch 100 games of baseball, I'll tell you right now, not one announcer in the MLB that knows a damn thing will say, "Oh shit, he's having a perfect game in 7 innings." They won't say it.
Yeah.
They will not do it. This happened this year. I believe it was for the Dodgers. Before the game started, there was this Japanese pitcher, and he is good. I don't even want to try to pronounce his name.
Okay.
But before the game started, as it was warming up, they're like, "You guys are going to want to watch this. This is must-see TV tonight because this guy is potentially going to throw a no-hitter tonight." The first pitch of the game, home run.
Yeah.
You don't talk about it.
Man, way to set the bar, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
it was like, you don't do that. But anyway, so yeah, he's going 7 innings, and then he gets out in the 8th, and Gus, the catcher, comes up to him, and he starts kind of realizing what's happening. And he goes, "Hey, has anybody got on base?" And Gus goes, "No." And he goes, "All night?" And he goes, "No."
yeah, he's just been that locked in.
And he goes, "You ever seen anything like that?" And he goes, "No." But everybody knows what's happening except him, but nobody brings it up. That's why at the dugout, teammates don't even go up and talk to you, say, "Hey, nice inning." They don't say shit.
They aren't even sitting by him.
No, because you're not supposed to. He's got to stay focused.
And we should say too, he's dealing because he's old.
Yeah.
He's his arm's not what it used to be, so he's feeling it, but he's just muscling through this thing.
And especially because he's throwing harder than he usually throws.
Yeah.
And what I loved about this movie that I've never seen in a baseball movie, especially, maybe not even in a sports movie, is when he's on the mound, he is constantly talking to himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real thing.
Oh yeah.
And like he's talking to the batters even though they can't hear him.
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, you son of a bitch, you don't crowd me because
Yeah.
or whatever." And he's talking to himself the whole time, kind of making jokes, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like, "Oh yeah, I can always tell when I'm in New York, trash ass people." And
I don't think he said that, but
nah, but I mean that's what he meant. But he's keeping himself locked in by doing that.
yeah.
And at one point, his arm's hurting so bad, he even tells his catcher, because "I don't know what I have left."
Yeah.
He's like, "I don't have much left in my arm." And he says, "Just throw it. Just throw it. We
got you.
We got you. The 8 other players on this will have your freaking back." And have his back, they did. They made some remarkable baseball
Oh,
plays.
yeah, they did.
But that's a real thing, man.
Oh yeah. The teammates want it too.
Absolutely. Because it's a good defensive game, but like that is just such a rare thing to happen that defenses will inherently just play better.
Yeah.
When that's I assume it's probably like the same in like hockey, like when a guy has a fight, because like that changes the trajectory of the game.
Yeah, it
when it
changes
fires
momentum.
your team up, and
Yeah.
they're like, "All right, he went to battle for us. We're going to battle for him."
I'm trying to think of what other sport would be like that, but there really isn't. Like for football, it's an ebb and flow.
I mean, a
kind of
big
thing.
play can change any
Oh
game,
yeah.
really.
Oh yeah.
Basketball, maybe not so much. It's such a fast paced
Yeah.
thing. And so in the 8th inning, the team really does bail him out.
Oh, yeah, big time.
And what I thought was great, and I it's just good writing. So earlier in the movie, his center fielder at Fenway Park
Oh, yeah.
goes back for a ball, misses it, hits him in the head, and it goes over the fence for a home run.
Yeah,
And he's in the locker room, and he's like one of the last ones to leave the locker room because he doesn't want to go face the press. And he asks him, he's like, what do you think? You think they're just going to make fun of me or whatever? And Costner tells him, he's like, just don't let them. Like, don't give them that. Don't feed into their bullshit.
Don't give them a sound.
And he goes, and I promise you, at some point, it's going to be you and me going wall to wall. Basically saying, like, I've got your freaking back. And that's being a locker room leader, the old guy, the veteran guy.
Yeah.
Telling the young guy, don't. Because he's already been through all this crap.
Mm-hmm.
So don't do that. And then he's pitching against his former teammate, his best buddy. And the guy hits a bomb.
He cranks one.
Goes back to center field. Who makes the catch?
Yeah.
And he looks at him. They tip their hat to each other. Basically, it's like, I told you we were going to go wall to wall for each other. And it did.
Yeah.
And- And then
There's some callbacks in this movie.
there absolutely is. Like at the beginning of the game, a kid comes up to him in the locker room and he's like, hey, you used to play with my dad.
Yeah, and he just got called up to the
Yeah, and he
MLB.
goes, oh, are you starting today? And he goes, no, Dad, I'll play. I just got called up. Well, in the 9th inning, nothing's working. The Yankees can't hit this guy.
The last batter.
So they say, hey, you're pinch hitting. And this rookie gets up, and I'm not going to say what happens,
Yeah.
okay, because it's a big catalyst of the movie or whatever.
Yeah.
But, he pitches against the kid, and you kind of, as a viewer, you don't know which way it's going to go, really.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to say what he wrote on the baseball.
Yeah, don't do that either.
Damn, it's hard to tie this one up.
All right. Well, let's just say the game ends,
Mhm.
and through the course of this all, he figured out that, he really loves this woman and he doesn't want to lose her.
Doesn't want to lose her.
So he decides that after the game's over, he is going to fly wherever she's.
He's going to go to London.
And it just so happened her flight got delayed, and he kind of makes a reconcile with her and just like, hey, I can't lose you.
Yeah.
Like I love you. I can't live without you.
So I was thinking about this. It's called For the Love of the Game.
Yeah.
2 games being played.
Yeah.
Which one do you think the title's talking about? Baseball or the game?
Oh, it's definitely the girl.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
It's a good movie, man.
Yeah, I think you're going to be upset with my overall.
I kind of expected it.
Okay.
Just give it to me.
This is probably about maybe a 3 to 2.75 for me.
Yeah, I was thinking.
And I can actually, because I didn't write any notes except for what I didn't like.
Okay, tell me what you didn't like.
Okay. The romance scenes, basically. Because, one, I think they have some very clunky dialogue at some points. But the baseball is actually what saves this movie for me, because it's like, it's believable.
Yeah.
Like, Kevin Costner does great in the baseball scenes.
Yeah, he's awesome.
But the romance, yeah, I was out. I was like, this is...
I think that's a trend, though, especially for a lot of the movies that came out of that generation, especially romance movies.
Yeah, and to be honest, the runtime, it didn't need to be too... they could have cut some scenes out in this, to be honest with you.
I would agree with that 100%. Yeah.
Like, the runtime's a little lengthy for me.
There were some scenes that I was like, okay, why? But yeah, so I get that. I would say my rating, if I'm being realistic and not being biased because it's about baseball,
Yeah.
I would give it a 3.75. Just because I think after watching the movie, I don't know, I just kind of felt better about myself a little bit. I just kind of liked I just liked watching it. It was an enjoyable
Yeah,
movie.
you like the movie. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. And it's hard to, I just like Kevin Costner.
Yeah, I do too. It's just, some of the romance, it's just like, we didn't need all that. Like,
yeah, but I don't think you could have made the movie without the romance,
you
unfortunately.
can. I mean, you definitely couldn't. Like, you needed it. But, like, I don't know. There were some parts that it's just like, why did this need to be added into the movie? You know what I mean? And, like, some of it just seemed like some of the dialogue was just a little clunky for me.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, I'm not feeling this.
I think you could say that about a lot of Costner's movies because he was making a bunch. They're from the late 80s to the mid 90s.
Oh, yeah.
But like even as much as I love Postman, But I bet if you really sat down and watched Postman, you'd be like, we didn't need that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Waterworld, I could tell you for sure. There's some stuff in there that I'm like, weh.
yeah, you can cut that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, that's what it was. And then I did laugh at some of the song choices too. Like some of them worked, and then some others I was just like, who's doing the sound choices, song choices for this movie?
Yep. Yeah, but I don't know. It's a fun movie. I would certainly recommend it, especially if you want to watch a good sports movie. Like if you put it in a category of only sports movies.
Oh, it's great. Like the sports section is awesome.
Yeah, I think it's really good, and like, you know, so there's 2 movies for. Okay, I want to say this, and then I'll talk about something that we've talked about before. But there's 2 sports movies in general that I have watched when I was a young kid. This, obviously, I watched this, but Bull Durham and Major League.
I don't think I've seen Bull Durham.
So Bull Durham is about a real life major or minor league team.
He's the catcher, right? In that movie?
Yeah. But it's about the Durham Bulls, and they're a real life minor league team.
Yeah.
And basically, he's the old timey catcher that just has no chance to make it back to the majors, but doesn't want to quit playing, and he's kind of an asshole.
He just likes it, yeah.
And but Major League and Bull Durham, when I was, I don't know, I'm trying to think of let's say 8 or 9 or 10, they made me want to be a catcher. Because Major League, Jake Taylor, the catcher in Major League, I was like my favorite character.
Yeah.
And so those movies did, and Costner's obviously in Bull Durham. Bull Durham's good. It's got Susan Sarandon in it.
Hell yeah.
It's a good movie. We don't have to watch it for the podcast, but we should watch it. It's really good.
Okay.
And it's not so much romancy.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, him and Susan Sarandon like are together or whatever, but it's not like this one is where it's.
Now, Field of Dreams, love that movie. It's awesome.
Yeah, but that's a unique sports movie too, because it's like
a little,
mystical. And,
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
But the other thing that I did want to say is, and we've talked a few times, like this is not a sports driven show, but we've talked about the impact of sports and stuff like that. And one thing that I do want to convey to people that I hope maybe this will help them understand if they don't already, like the reason that people get so crazy about sports is because sports give you feelings that you just cannot get from any other form of entertainment. And when I say that, what I mean by that is you have a connection with a particular team or a particular game or a particular season or whatever that you will just carry with you your entire life. Sports make you feel the joy of victory or the agony of defeat that you're not going to feel in everyday life or from everyday people. Like if you as a sports fan, and it doesn't matter what the sport is.
Yeah.
They're like, I remember watching that game with my grandpa, or I remember watching this team play with my dad, or whatever. Like, so the reason that people get so attached to these is because that's not you don't get that from any other form of art, really.
It's usually the memory of the people that you're watching,
right?
The particular,
and then also as a fan, you become a fan of a team, okay, and you watch them and you watch the ups and the downs. But when they win, you feel like you win. You know what I mean? Like, how awesome was it? You've been a Chiefs fan your whole life. You watched them suck ass.
Yeah.
And then they finally do it.
Oh, dude, I cried.
Right. That's what I'm saying. There's a euphoria that comes along with that.
Well, and it's also like my granddad.
Exactly.
My mom. They never got the chance to see it.
Precisely what I'm talking about.
And then, like, it all came together and we won it. And I'll never forget, we all had the exact same emotion. It's just like, God damn it. We've been doing this for our entire lives, waiting for this moment.
Because you stick with that team, you know?
Yeah,
it's
a passion.
But you don't get that in, like, you watch a movie and you have a memory with the movie and a feeling that a movie gives you.
Oh, yeah.
But that, no matter what, you can watch it every single time. It ends the same way.
Yeah.
Okay? Every year, your team, it doesn't end the same way.
No.
It just doesn't.
Usually doesn't, no.
And so there's something that comes along with it. And I think that at times we feel like, or people that aren't necessarily sports fans will be like, oh, yeah, well, they're making all kinds of money and they're doing this and they're
they'll
doing
just
that.
be like, I don't get it. And it's like, well, I don't, like, I obviously don't understand that because I've never Like with the Chiefs, for instance,
Right.
I've always watched them, even when they sucked.
Right. You didn't just become a sports fan yesterday.
Yeah.
Right. But I think that if people would really give it a chance, they would understand. Plus, also, not only for the people that are playing, but for fans or viewers, there's a camaraderie that comes along with being a fan or being an athlete or being this. Like, we get together on Sundays and just watch football and hang out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we get to, when the NBA finals happen, we get together and watch. And whether we're rooting for a team, like whether we have a dog in that fight or not, that's a memory that we get to have. And that's thanks to sports.
Plus, you'll get to see usually, there's at least something that happens that is incredible.
Right.
You will never see a normal person on like a city field here in town
Sure.
ever do.
Right. We turn these people into superheroes. Because in a way they are.
Yeah.
They're doing things that the average person can't do.
yeah.
And a lot of it is talent, a lot of it is God-given, but a lot of it is a lot of, like what I was talking earlier, a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work.
Skill, a lot of work.
A lot of sacrifice to do that. So, yeah, they make a lot of money. They should, because they're impacting millions and millions of people and making them feel
For
a certain
sure.
way. And that way that they may feel may be bad.
Dude, a lot of athletes too can change a whole city's community.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, that's a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah, but
But dude, when I was a kid, man, my dad's mom passed away when I was 5 years old. I still have vaguely, but I have memories of her listening to the Royals on the radio washing dishes, you know? And I don't have a lot of memories of my grandma, but I have that one.
yeah,
You know what I
dude,
mean?
Sports just connects people.
I became a Red Sox fan in 2004 when I was, how old would I have been in for? 9?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
Probably 9 or 10. And the only reason I'm Red Sox fan today is because of that. And it's because the Red Sox had went damn near a century without winning a World Series. They hadn't even went to the World Series since 86 when Buckner had the thing go between his legs or whatever. And my dad, who was not necessarily a Red Sox fan at the time, sat me down and was like, we have to watch this. This is history. This is a thing.
Yeah.
And I watched all 7 of those games with my father. In that moment, I was like, I'm a Red Sox fan. And I've been blessed since then being a Red Sox fan because we won again in 07 and then, you know, in 13 or whatever, and then in 18. But that's the reason I became a Sox fan. Reason I became a Steelers fan. I watched the first football game I can ever remember watching was with my older brother. And we're not super close because we're not close in age. I mean, we've gotten closer the older I've gotten. But I watched it with him. And he was a Steelers fan. So I became, and that's where a lot of fandom starts. Fandom is taught to you, right?
Oh,
you grow
yeah.
up in a house that's a K-State house, so you like the Wildcats. Or a Jayhawk house, so you like the Jayhawks, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, it's imprinted on you.
Exactly. But there's memories that are attached with that. And I just think that if people would, and there's a romanticism that comes along with sports too. Like I could pull up a million baseball clips of a guy whose dad just died, and he comes and throws a no-hitter the next couple days. Brett Favre, his dad died, threw 6 touchdowns in a game.
Yeah.
You know, this guy's first major league at bat. He's been in the minors for 12 years. He gets his first ever major league at bat, hits a home run. Like there's just a romanticism that comes along with sports that you don't get anywhere else.
Yep. It is incredible, man.
You know, and that's why like I don't get frustrated when people don't like sports. I get frustrated when people like talk shit on you for being so passionate about something that you're not, according to them, you're not directly involved in. I don't make the lineup. I don't make a decision.
Yeah, I
on
don't
the
make
team.
the big moves or anything like that.
But by the way, if it wasn't for fans in the stands or watching on TV, there wouldn't even be sports. So we are just as involved as the players are, just in a totally different
and
way.
Sometimes teams even listen to what the fans want. Like if the fans are demanding a player, they'll go and get them for them.
Sometimes, yeah. And I think it's a really pure form of entertainment that we don't get in a lot of ways. I don't want to say there's no, but or at least during the game, I'll say that. Not the antics before or after or whatever, but during the actual gameplay, there's no politics, there's no religion, there's no nothing. It's just the sport.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And by the way, look at what sports has done culturally that other things haven't. Jackie Robinson
broke down the color barrier.
Yeah, he integrated sports.
Yeah.
Which in turn, you could argue, integrated everything.
Oh yeah.
you know, or desegregated. I'm sorry. Like, well, that's the same
Well,
word, but
most sports, yeah.
not even just sports, but like, you know, when he was
Yeah,
playing,
he set an example.
yeah, exactly. And so it's, I mean, Jim Brown, like all these people, and then, you know, they get to a certain point where they can make a difference, like you said
Muhammad
earlier.
Ali, for Christ's sakes,
Right.
dude.
Right, but if Muhammad Ali would have tried to be as outspoken as Muhammad Ali was, if he wasn't a boxer, nobody would have gave a damn.
Yeah, exactly.
It would have just been a regular guy.
Yeah.
So they do a lot of good, man. They're really
Well, they just have so much influence in the world that
Yeah.
they can change it if they like. Ali, 100% outspoken.
Yeah.
Changed the world.
went to prison
Yeah.
for his beliefs.
Yep.
Yeah, so become a sportsman. It's not just a bunch of meatheads that sit around and chest bump. Now we do a lot of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, there is some of that. I mean, me and you,
Yeah,
Sundays, I mean, we look a little ridiculous.
But
at
I
times.
was just like, I don't know, man. When I watched this movie, like it did kind of just make me think about that, and like, you know, him being a pitcher and like having this locker room mentality and this guy and stuff like that. Like, if you've played sports, you do kind of know. There's also a camaraderie that comes along with playing sports. I don't care what level it is, whether it's, you know, middle school basketball or the major leagues. Like, you make connections with people and friendships with people that are, you know, they're lasting, and you get a feeling being in a locker room that you're not going to get being at work or being at school and stuff like that. And I was thinking about this, him being a pitcher and like all this stuff, and it made me think of Tim Wakefield. You know, we've talked about Nolan Ryan and we've talked about Jerry Rice and a couple of these guys that are
yeah.
Tim Wakefield was a pitcher for the Red Sox for about 19 years, I think.
Yeah.
And he started out at the Pirates. But anyway, he died a year ago, about a year after his retirement, of brain cancer.
Oh, shit.
And then his wife died 4 months later of cancer. And the impact that one person had on that entire city of Boston after the bombing, took them to a World Series, like did all this stuff. Like, I just think that's lost on people when they look at athletes, that they don't necessarily understand that.
I mean, dude, 9/11, that game right after the Giants,
Yeah.
there wasn't a single dry eye on that stadium.
No.
But the city needed that.
yeah.
Something for them to just, for a 3-hour period, to get their minds off of what just tragically happened.
Yeah.
And I mean, sports can have that effect. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And athletes can have that effect,
Yeah.
you know? And that's why, like, you know, when a big athlete like that suddenly dies, like Kobe, I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dude.
Like, it's because they're important people, and they're not only important just because they won a championship. They're important because what they did because they could win that championship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anyway, I'll get off that soapbox, but I just feel like it was kind of a good thing to talk about and,
Yeah, man.
and discuss or whatever. But
Well, I got some news this week.
you got some tea?
Yeah, this is what took me so long to watch this damn movie. Was I'm watching the movie, had to pause because Kelsey went to the fridge for something.
Okay.
She's like, "It's warm." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And so, like, it's like 9:30, you know, like I'm trying to get this movie done so I can go to sleep.
Yeah.
And so she's like, "The fridge is warm." I'm like, "Oh, shit." Went in there. Sure as shit, it was like room temperature. I'm like, "Oh, no." So unplug it, pull the fridge out, clean it out, plug it back in, kick it in, fan kicks on. I'm like, okay, maybe we're okay. Nah, this morning, nothing. Didn't cool down at all.
So you think the fridge went
Oh,
out?
fridge is done.
Really?
It's out, man.
So what are you doing?
I gotta get a new one. I'm like, God damn it, though. Like, I'm trying to watch this, you know, like I'm trying to watch the movie. I'm like, shit. Like,
Have you been looking into new fridges?
no, not until,
Are you going to buy a brand new one or a used one?
haven't decided yet. Because how my house is set up, it's old. So, you know, back in the day, they just had these little fridges. You threw them in a pocket in the house.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was all done. Nowadays, you know, you can get some massive behemoths. So I have to find a fridge specifically just for this house.
Oh, it shouldn't be that hard. I mean, you just
No,
take some measurements.
It shouldn't be. but I have a feeling, yeah, this is going to
It
cost.
still sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
Because now you're gonna have to not only buy a new one, but dispose of the old.
Oh
one.
yeah, yeah. But luckily, I had the beer fridge.
Oh yeah, nice. So you were able to transfer
I
stuff
was
down
able
there?
to save. We were able to save some shit, but like not obviously not everything.
Yeah, that's handy.
Yeah, but I was like, see, beer fridge. Told you it'd come in handy.
Yeah. I don't have one. I need one. I need a beer.
A good
fridge.
beer fridge, dude.
Dude, I tell you what, you're 100% right. You gotta have a second fridge.
A beer fridge, and you never know. Just in that instance, I was
Yeah.
like, thank God we have a beer fridge.
I think if I had one, I would have two fears. Fear number one would be that I would have more room to put more beer in, so I would just
yeah,
drink more beer.
yeah.
But also, I think that would give Shaylee a little bit of leeway to be like, oh, not enough room in here. Oh, just go put it in the beer fridge. And then it wouldn't be mine anymore.
We do use the freezer quite a bit.
Right. And then it wouldn't be mine anymore. And I'd be like, it's my fridge.
Yeah. You gotta lose that aspect, but
Yeah.
like, it's mainly the beer fridge.
Yeah, but I don't want to have to like move around freaking, I don't know, blocks of cheese or something to get to a beer. Like that's what I do in the house fridge. I don't want that in the
I will
garage
say,
fridge.
I went down there this morning or after work, and I was like, oh shit. And Kelsey, typical woman here, not me. I would just thrown that shit in. Had it all like laid out nice, sections of beer and all this stuff. I was like, okay, that
No,
works.
I wouldn't have done it. So the two like the vegetable drawers on the bottom.
yeah.
That's usually like where I'm allowed. That's my safe space in our fridge for like
that's
beers.
the beer area, yeah.
Yeah. But
Classic. That's a classic guy move right there. It's meant for vegetables, but we throw away Anheuser-Busch products in.
so Monday, so you and me, we went camping over the weekend at
Oh, yeah, man.
Fall River, which was a really good time.
Yeah, I had a great time.
I was kind of impressed and surprised and happy with how well my camper did because I didn't know we'd just been working on it and stuff. So everything worked good. But so Monday, pull that sucker home, and we're heading home. Me and the wife, and I was like, "You want to watch a movie today?" Like I was kind of in the mood. Like
That's exactly what we did.
I was like, "Let's just sit down and relax." Right. Well, my brother calls. He needed to do some laundry, so he came over.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right. And then next thing I know, another person swings by the house. And then my buddy calls me and he's like, hey, man, we're about to go swimming in the creek. You guys want to come? And I was like, I could get in some water. And so then we load up and we go swimming for a few hours. Well, then that turns into like, well, shit, we might as well cook out. And then, dude, at
All day thing, yeah.
at one point, I think it was like 10 o'clock at night. I think I had probably with kids and people, probably 25 people at my
You
house.
know what I've learned the mastery of? Just saying no.
Yeah, but a part of me, because I didn't get the full weekend because I had to work.
I get that. Yeah.
So a part of me, but it was funny because I had the cookout at my house with just a few people, and then they left,
Yeah.
and me and Shaylee kind of looked at each other like, shit, we're done. And it was like 7,
Yeah.
and I was like, cool. And she did ask me, she's like, can you just not drink the rest of the night? And I was like, yeah, I actually don't even have a problem doing that. I was like, I'll just drink pop and Gatorade or whatever, water. And we kind of wound down. We sat down, and then all of a sudden, doors knocking. Here's 15 people just showing up. Like, because I had said something earlier in the day, I had seen some people in passing, and I was like,
yeah.
I was like, we're gonna grill
That's
out.
the mistake you make.
Yeah, but they showed up 4 hours late to the cookout,
Yeah.
and then everybody showed up, and then, I mean, yeah, we just drank and had a good time, but. I'm not mad that it happened
Yeah.
because I kind of did ask for it, but I don't want to do that regularly. I'll tell you
Dude,
that.
I've mastered the
You
art.
need a wind down day.
Dude, Monday was beautiful
Yeah.
because this weekend was long. There was a lot of sun, a lot of in the water, a lot of drinking. It was a good time. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. But like Monday, when we came back, I put the camper in, whatever, and we unpacked it all, got it all done. And when I laid in bed, I was just like,
Nice.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that happened. And then trying to think. Then I went to work or whatever next few days. But tomorrow I take off to Tulsa.
Mm-hmm.
My oldest and first nephew is getting married. Which, let me run some jokes by you.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to land, but I think I'm going to do it anyway.
Okay.
Because I'm treating this wedding as my swan song.
Your final.
My final hoorah, or at least a serious sabbatical for years.
Yeah.
I'm tired of officiating weddings. I really am.
Maybe start writing. You know?
Maybe what?
Just start writing jokes down just in case like something big comes up and you're like, I've been waiting.
So I don't want to say necessarily that they're jokes, but they're more like funny anecdotes. So like she's originally from New Mexico, but then like grew up in Oklahoma. And so we're going to Tulsa, Oklahoma for the wedding. So I have this bit kind of in there because I have been teasing her about it.
I mean,
about how I hate Oklahoma.
I would have made a bit about New Mexico.
I love New Mexico.
It's not, I mean, I don't know.
There's some beautiful parts of New Mexico.
Well, the only thing I've seen is dog shit. But
so that's an odd state where like half of it is just desert dog shit. And then the other half is these beautiful mountains and ski slopes and elk and wildlife. Oklahoma, pretty well across the board, just fucking sucks.
yeah, it sucks.
So, and if you'll remember, and I'm sure you will, my mom used to live in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And so I have this kind of bit in there, like, you know, kind of leading up, like, I used to tease her about it, or I have been teasing her about it, but just so everybody here knows, and this is at the beginning of the ceremony, I hate Oklahoma. I don't like this state. I was like, you know, I can't remember what I have written down verbatim, but it's like, you know, one time I walked outside barefoot and I had to pull stickers out of my feet for hours because you guys don't have actual grass here like we do in Kansas. One time I got bit by a rabid dog and had to get 11 rabies shots here, which is true. And I said most recently, last time I was in Tulsa, I was standing outside my hotel for work meetings and a crazy lady stabbed me, which happened.
Yeah.
But then I was gonna wrap it up and be like, but because of these two, and because of why we're here, Oklahoma's one of my favorite states. And then another one I was gonna say is like about me not being a real preacher. And so I was gonna say, you're gonna hear some things from me today that a preacher would say, and you might even say, that guy's not a half bad preacher. I said, but then you're going to see some behavior out of me later that is the furthest thing from a preacher that you can get.
Yeah, that might land, man.
So keep that one in mind. And then, I don't know, just some. Oh, I got one joke. So, like, you know, he played college football, so all his groomsmen are like his teammates from college football.
God, you're going to look so small
I
compared
know.
to those guys.
I do all the time. But I've kind of wrapped the ceremony. It's kind of like, there's a lot of like sports references and analogies, like starting a team, being a team, stuff like that. So I was going to kind of say like, hey, you're going to hear a lot of like sports references today and competition references today. And I said, mainly that's because both of these two for their whole lives have been very top-notch athletes.
Is his wife an athlete too?
Yeah, she played college lacrosse.
Oh, okay.
I was like, these have both been very top-notch athletes.
That's a tough chick, dude.
Right. Yeah, I know. And I said, you know, and because of they've been on so many teams, but also because these dumb meatheads over here pointing at the groomsmen, if I didn't say the word football or sports, they would not know where the hell they were at right now.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Right? Yeah. So they're safe, but I think they're pretty good. One thing I am concerned about, you know how much of a pussy I am emotionally?
Yeah.
I do have.
You're gonna choke up.
I'm gonna try not to choke up, but I think I think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I won't be there, but like, I just know like that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know, it's personal to me, you know, like it's it's my nephew, and he's only like 4 years younger than me, so it wasn't really like an uncle nephew
like
thing,
a bro
cousinship, is what it felt like really. Until I was probably in my 20s, and then I started feeling like his uncle.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm nervous. I haven't been nervous for a wedding in a long time. This is what I'm nervous about, because it's my retirement one, you know, and then they'll put me in the Hall of Fame.
They got a lot of family showing up.
Yeah, my whole family.
Yeah.
And I'm making fun of a lot of my family. So I don't know how that's going to go over.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Well, last night I was like, hey, I told Shaylee, I was like, do you want to hear what I have? And she goes, no. She goes, I want to be surprised like everybody else. And I was like, because ordinarily when I do these, she's like, run it by me and I'll tell her.
Yeah, work through it.
And she goes, no, I want to be surprised like everybody else. And I was like, this is probably the one time I think I really do want your criticism. Because once I get there, I mean, I'm in it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, I mean,
You're committed.
There's
You're
no
just-
turning back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, yeah, I mean, Tulsa should not be fun. And then we've got a fantasy football draft.
Sunday, yeah.
I think it's going to be a disaster.
For you?
I think for a lot of people.
For me, it's going to be awesome.
I think because this fantasy football draft is unlike our regular fantasy football.
It's like unlike anything we've ever done.
That's what I'm saying. I think a lot of people are not, I think I'll do okay. I'm not sure, but I think like one thing that I'm nervous about that I certainly feel like the rest of the guys should be worried about, because this is a dynasty league and you're essentially building a team for longevity and not just for a year. I think what's going to happen is a lot of guys are probably going to draft how we would draft in our usual fantasy football league.
Yeah.
And it's going to kick a lot of us in the butt.
Yeah, down the road, yeah.
Yeah.
For the first like 2 years, you guys might be awesome. And then like after that, it might go off the rails.
I'm a little concerned about it, if I'm being honest with you, because I didn't really keep up with the guys coming into the draft as well as you guys did.
Yeah, this is one of those ones you're going to have to start doing that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Welcome to the big show, buddy.
Yeah. Welcome to the league, kid.
Yeah.
Well, you got anything else?
No, man, I'm good.
I feel like I want to have one good funny thing here. I don't know that we've been so funny. I feel like I've been really serious this whole time.
Yeah, whatever. We'll have them from time to time.
I'm funnier than this.
Are you?
Yeah. Yeah, people have told me I'm pretty funny.
Oh, just because people say it in passing doesn't mean anything, really, right?
I think what you should be more concerned about is what people say when you're not listening.
I mean, I don't care, but
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if people say, "Oh my God, you're funny," you know, you're like, "Hey, thanks," but then they might turn around to their friend, "That guy's not fucking funny
that
at
guy's a
all.
fucking hack."
He's a hack. Yeah, he's not funny." And then I mean, you don't know. You don't know. I don't know. I think we're pretty funny.
Sometimes, yeah, sure.
Funny looking.
Nice.
Thanks.
For the viewers, though, I do have a sick mustache going on right now.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
And you know what? I'm keeping it now.
You're a regular old. You know what you look like? This is a compliment.
Yeah.
You look like Tom Selleck if he was born in a Cherokee tribe.
Yeah.
Although you don't have the hair that he had.
Dude, I'm not going to lie, though. It's a little bitch move I made today.
Oh, okay.
I did kind of look up, like, mustache styles. Just see if I wanted to trim it up into something different.
I think you should do the Charlie Chaplin mustache.
I think that's been frowned upon since the 40s.
Why?
You know, somebody famous,
The Fuhrer?
infamous kind of wore it for a while.
So did Chaplin.
Yeah, well, you know, Chaplin also didn't have a great career after sound was invented. So,
Dude, I think, are you going to start waxing it, you think?
nah, I don't know how far I want to get into this.
So, but here's the thing that I've noticed with people that do the wax and the
Yeah,
mustaches.
yeah.
They're not as thick as yours.
yeah.
I think you and me both, when it comes to mustaches, grow kind of thicker.
Yeah, it's a caterpillar on the lip.
Yeah. So like other guys that get that curl in there,
Yeah.
which I guess looks cool. I think
I can't talk shit. My cousin Daniel rocks a kick-ass one. But
I think it's circumstantial
yeah.
when it looks cool. But theirs is not as thick as like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You like that looks like Cousin It.
Yeah, like, yeah. I'm ready for license and registration.
Yeah, that's
And
yeah.
then stop resisting. You know what I mean?
That's what you look like. Stop resisting.
What are you reaching for?
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
yeah. That's what you look like.
Yeah.
You look like one of the 10 guys that beat up Rodney King. That's what you look
yeah,
like.
I might have.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Although, if you did it, wouldn't necessarily be a hate crime.
No, I would have been the officer in the background. You're like, hey guys, come on, take it easy.
yeah, and honestly, if there would have been that episode or that officer, OJ might have went to jail when he was supposed to.
Probably.
Oh, by the way, speaking of OJ, did you see Nicole's sisters are about to drop a documentary.
I'm here for it.
Oh, I'll watch it.
Oh, hell yeah.
And apparently, it's supposed to highlight all the years of abuse that OJ did with Nicole.
I mean,
As if we didn't know that.
yeah,
happened, but-
yeah, like, come on.
But they were on Good Morning America the other day, and they're like, the point of this documentary is for people to get to know Nicole as a person, to humanize Nicole as a person.
Yeah, now she's just like forever marked in history as like,
The murdered white
Yeah.
chick. Yeah.
yeah, of murdered ex-wife of OJ.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, that's kind of cool.
I mean, I'm not, listen, I'm not trying to make fun of it at all because I think it's a good thing. But I did see her sisters on TV the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them chicks she's not at the age that she needs to be wearing some of the stuff she's wearing, or her lips are so big, man.
Oh, she's gotten some work done. Okay.
Yeah, like her face is frozen. Like so much Botox,
Yeah,
so much
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like,
One of those people. Okay.
I don't understand why people think that looks good.
No, it doesn't. Because, like, at a certain point, even, like, not bagging on her sister, but, like, celebrities in general, when you're, like, 70 years old and your face looks like someone grabbed it
Yeah.
and then, like, ripped it back,
Yeah.
that doesn't look good.
I don't care what age you're at. I don't think any of it looks good personally.
No, but, like, I can't speak for actors or whatever,
Yeah.
but, like, at a certain point, just look like you're like a normal, you know what I mean? Like a natural progression of age.
Yeah.
Because, like, at a certain point, it just looks like odd.
Oh, speaking of someone who gets a lot of, and then we'll get out of here, but have you been keeping up with the Nepo baby thing with Kim Kardashian and the Lion King right now?
No, what
You have
hell
no
is
idea?
that? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So they did this musical of the Lion King at the Hollywood Bowl. I think it was like last week.
By the way, been by there. Looks fucking sick.
The Hollywood Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it's cool. So they did this whole production of the
Yeah.
Lion King.
Like a play.
Yeah. And it might have been for an anniversary. I'm not sure why.
Whatever, yeah.
So the actor that played young Simba, that sings like "I just can't wait,"
Yeah.
was Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's daughter,
Okay. West.
Northwest or whatever her name is.
Yeah, whatever.
Horrible. She was terrible. I've seen a lot of clips.
Yeah.
Not good. She didn't know where to go. She was singing.
Dude, what is she, like 12?
I think she's like 10 or 11. I mean, she's not that old.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not her fault. Well, some kids got it, some kids don't. She ain't got it.
Okay.
But after that happened, all kinds of people came coming out saying, like, my kids went to the audition for that role and all this stuff. And they basically told us, now we're giving it to the Kardashian chick because the
That's a
producer,
draw, yeah.
no, the producer of the whole thing is the same producer that does Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Oh.
And has come out publicly and said, Kim strong-armed me into putting
Gotcha.
North into it. So now the internet is going crazy with
About these Nepos.
the Nepo babies.
So stupid. Like that instance, yeah, that's you
If
know,
she was good,
yeah,
then you couldn't argue
that makes
it.
sense.
Dude, I'm telling you,
There's plenty of Nepo babies that rock.
watch the
though.
clips. She's horrible.
Okay, I'll get on TikTok.
And I hate to just go to town on like a 10-year-old,
Yeah.
but she's got no talent.
Yeah.
Like all the other Kardashians, zero talent.
I feel that way about Will Smith's kids a lot.
I don't know. Willow can kind of sing. She's got a couple songs that I'm like, not bad.
Yeah.
Now, not like when she was a child.
Yeah.
But it is just dog shit. And also, like, the costume they put her in, like, everybody else, like, all the background, like, everybody's costume is really good.
Mm-hmm.
And the one they put the little girl in is like a big-ass sweater. And I'm like, and I'm supposed to believe that's a lion?
Yeah, that's kind of odd.
Yeah. But that's a big deal right now.
Okay, well, I'll get on
And
TikTok and check it out. I didn't know about
It's
this.
all over.
I did not know about this.
Yeah, the nepotism. But like it would. Could you like it would suck if she was really good, because they would still attack her, right? They still would.
Yeah, people don't like the Kanye or Kim, really. Well, I mean, they like him. Some people like him. Some people hate him. So, like,
It's a niche group, I think.
yeah, it's the internet, man.
Yeah. So, like, Dennis Quaid's son, I think is a pretty talented actor, but he has gotten some, like, blowback from
Even Ethan Hawke and what's her butt? God, she's literally right here. Uma Thurman,
who's their kid?
Maya Hawke. She's in Stranger Things and
Oh, the redhead chick?
no, she's
Oh, yeah, the older girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's good.
yeah, she is.
Some of them are good.
Yeah, and they still hate on her.
Yeah.
It's just a weird thing. I don't understand that. It'd be like, would they really do that if like somebody like I don't know started a great construction business?
Yes. Yeah, I'll tell you right now. Yes.
I mean, the guys at work would be
Exactly.
Yeah,
You'd be like, yeah, I only got this job because he's the boss's kid.
yeah, but isn't that the American dream? To like
Yes.
start a business and then like have your family run it forever?
Yes. But if you're an outsider coming in, and by outsider, I mean your family didn't start
No,
the
it's
business.
just jealousy at that point.
Yes.
But what if the person's adept and they have the knowledge?
Well, if
to
they're
do
good at
Yeah.
it, then you can't argue it. But I have been in situations myself where I
Yeah.
have either witnessed or made comments in the construction industry when I see a kid coming in because he is the son
Yeah,
of
yeah.
somebody and he sucks. And it's like, damn, I had to work my ass off for like 4 years to get to this point, and they just came right in.
Yeah, I guess I can see it. But I mean, naturally, any parent would obviously do that.
Yeah, I probably would.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know that you'd necessarily give him like,
A supervising position?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not. But
if you make him start at the bottom, that's different, you know?
yeah, earn respect with the crew, man.
But these kids, these Nepo babies, like in Hollywood, I would say there's probably a lot of circumstances where maybe they don't have to audition and maybe they don't have
oh,
to
yeah,
win.
yeah.
But there's probably also a lot of circumstances where they do, because there's a lot of money wrapped up into,
Big movie productions for
Yeah.
sure.
so studios can't necessarily afford to be like, be sorry, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but all right, well, let's
All
get
right,
the hell
let's get
out of
out
here.
of here.
All right, well, hey, once again, go follow the Facebook page, C&D's Booze Reviews,
Instagram.
YouTube, and TikTok.
Yeah.
And yeah, we appreciate the support and all the feedback we've been getting. It's been pretty cool. We've got a few people that that live around here that we see all the time that always have really positive things to say. So we definitely appreciate that.
Oh, I'd appreciate even the negative, man. Like any feedback is awesome.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, if we got things to work on, let us know, but just know that you're probably wrong. And
We'll take it into note, but doesn't mean we're gonna enforce it.
yeah, I mean, I'll listen to it. But yeah, and then have a good week and enjoy the summer. Go watch For the Love of the Game. It's a pretty good movie. And next week will be Chase's movie. And Chase has some theories about what he might do. Might be throwing some curveballs into the
the whole vibe that we've been going on.
yeah. So, but anyway, yeah, we really appreciate the support, man. It's been a wild ride so far, and we're hoping to continue it. So can't do that without all you guys that listen. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, buddy.
Love you, dude.
Love you, dude.
That ain't the truth.